Chapter 22. Evidence. I spent the next night at Phoebe's house, but I could hardly sleep. Phoebe kept saying, "Hear that noise?" And she would jump up to peer out the window in case it was the lunatic returning for the rest of us. Once she saw Mrs. Cadaver in her garden with a torch. I must have fallen asleep after that because I awoke at the sound of Phoebe crying in her sleep. When I woke her, she denied it. I was not crying. I most certainly was not. In the morning, Phoebe refused to get up. Her father rushed into the room with two ties slung around his neck and his shoes in his hand. "Phoebe, you're late." "I'm sick," she said. "I have a fever and a stomach ache." Her father placed his hand on her forehead, looked deep into her eyes, and said, "I'm afraid you have to go to school." "I'm sick, honest," she said. "It might be cancer." "Phoebe, I know you're worried, but there's nothing we can do. We have to get on with things. We can't malinger." We can't what?" Phoebe said. "Malinger. Here, look it up." He tossed her the dictionary from her desk and tore down the hall. "My mother is missing, and my father hands me a dictionary," Phoebe said. She looked up malinger and read the definition: to pretend to be ill in order to escape duty or work. She slammed the book shut. "I am not malingering." Prudence was running around in a frenzy. "Where is my white blouse? Phoebe, have you seen? I could have sworn—" She was pulling things out of her closet and flinging them on the bed. Phoebe reluctantly got dressed, pulling a wrinkled blouse and skirt from the closet. Downstairs, the kitchen table was bare. "No bowls of muesli?" Phoebe said. "No glass of orange juice? Or whole wheat toast?" She touched a white sweater hanging on the back of the chair. "My mother's favorite white cardigan," she said. She snatched the sweater and waved it in front of her father. "Look at this! Would she leave this behind? Would she?" He reached forward and touched its sleeve, rubbing the fabric between his fingers for a moment. "Phoebe, it's an old sweater." Phoebe put it on over her wrinkled blouse. It was uneasy because everything that happened at Phoebe's that morning reminded me of when my mother left. For weeks, my father and I fumbled around like ducks in a fit. Nothing was where it was supposed to be. The house took on a life of its own, hatching piles of dishes and laundry, newspapers and dust. My father must have said, "I'll be jiggered," about 3,000 times. The chickens were fidgety, the cows were skittish, and the pigs were sullen and glum. Our dog, Moody Blue, whimpered for hours on end. When my father said that my mother was not coming back, I refused to believe it. I brought all her postcards down from my room and said, would she have written these if she was not coming back? And just like Phoebe, who had waved her mother's sweater in front of her father, I had brought a chicken in from the coop. "Would Mom leave her favorite chicken?" I demanded. "She loves this chicken." What I really meant was, would Mom leave me? She loves me. At at school, Phoebe slammed her books on her desk. Beth Ann said, "Hey, Phoebe, your blouse is a little wrinkled." "My mother's away," Phoebe said. "Iron my clothes now," Beth Ann said. "I even iron. My mother's gone," Phoebe said. "I heard you, Phoebe. You can iron your own clothes, you know. To me, you can iron your own clothes, you know." "To me," Phoebe whispered, "I think I'm going to have a genuine heart attack." I thought about a baby rabbit we once had. When my mother found it in the field, cuddled against its dead mother, she brought the rabbit down to the barn and we nursed it. I slept in the barn with it for a whole week. Then one day, our dog, Bloody Moody Blue, caught the baby rabbit in its mouth. Moody Blue was only carrying it around. She was not actually lunching on the rabbit. I finally coaxed Moody Blue to drop it, and when I picked up the rabbit, its heart was beating faster than anything. Faster and faster it went, and then all of a sudden its heart stopped. I took the rabbit to my mother. She said, "It's dead, Salamanca." "It can't be dead," I said. "It was alive just a minute ago." Phoebe said, "I'm going to the nurse. Come with me, please." In the nurse's office, Phoebe explained that she was having a heart attack. The nurse told Phoebe to lie down. 5 minutes later, the nurse took Phoebe's pulse and said the heart attack was probably subsiding and sent both of us on to class. I wondered what would happen if all of a sudden Phoebe's heart beat itself out like a rabbit's and she fell down and died right there at school. Her mother would not even know Phoebe was dead.